Podcast. Harrison Smith and Nick Arno are breaking down every pitch, every game, and every series. Live every week. This is your home for all things Red Sox. Let's talk.
Welcome back into Rounding Third Boston, Episode 9, breakdown of the Orioles and Cardinals series, plus we have some extensions. I am Nick, and we have Harrison tonight. How are we doing, Harrison?
Awesome, Nick. It's nice to see the Red Sox have a good week. How you doing?
Doing pretty well, and we're live watching the Red Sox and Cardinals here, so we'll be probably jumping back and forth here. Red Sox are up 7-1 currently. So we'll get all into it. We'll start with the Orioles series. But first, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can follow on Instagram. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can follow on Rumble and TikTok as well. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have affiliate sponsor links at the top of our socials to Dick's Sporting Goods, MLB Shop, and Lids. You click on these links and do your shopping through those links. We get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you. So just a great way to support the podcast. So please use those links. And thank you to everybody that has done so far. And we have our Rounding Third merch. So we have sweatshirts, t-shirts, phone cases, tumblers. We have it all. Just go on to Rounding Third Baseball on Etsy. Another great way to support the pod.
You know you'd look good with some Rounding Third merch.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. We're going to start with the extensions, then we'll get to the breakdowns of the series here. Garrett, Crochet, extended for 6 years, $170 million. Is this a good deal or a big risk for the Red Sox?
I mean, it's both. I think it's both. I mean, this is a guy with 33 career starts. So not a huge sample set to work from. But what you've seen in those 33 starts have been fantastic. And his stuff is elite level. He has been absolutely dominant through spring training, through the opening of the season. He wasn't great on opening day, but he was really good. And that was a bad night for him. So I think the Red Sox view this as they're locking up their ace for the long term. He certainly projects to be a top of the rotation, potentially a top 5, top 10 starting pitcher in baseball. So I think it's a good deal. You're talking, he's got a $10 million incentive in there. So it could be at max 180, $30 million a year for an ace is a good deal. He comes with injury history and kind of an uncertain past, which could make it a bad deal. So I do think it's both, but I tend to err on the side of good deal because when he is on, he is hard to beat, and there's not a lot of guys in baseball better than him.
I agree with everything you said, and from the sounds of it, he wanted to be here. He sees what the young kids coming up through the system look like. He sees what the Red Sox did in this offseason. Crochet came here and he's like, yep, started talking extension right away. He's like, let's do it. Let's get it done. I think this is a good deal. Yeah. I mean, every deal has its risk, right? Especially pitchers nowadays. Everybody has Tommy John at some point. He's had shoulder issues. He's had arm issues. So there's always that risk. But if somebody's doing whatever it takes to be on the field, like it sounds like he does, and he wants to be here, that makes a world of difference. And getting this behind him early is awesome for the Red Sox and great for him as well. So I'm all for this.
Well, there's a lot to be said too for having a guy that's important as he is to the team locked up and comfortable. Get the contract out of his mind, put it on the back burner. He's got the 6-year deal. He's going to make the money, financial future set. Now we can just go pitch.
Yep.
The business of baseball is taking care of itself for the next 6 years. Now we can just focus on pitching. And that's really what the Red Sox need him to do, is to go out there and be the stopper, be the ace, lead this staff. And they don't need him wondering if he has a rough outing, if he's going to get an extension or not. Problem solved. Just go pitch, boy.
Yep. With you. And the other big extension that was officially announced this morning, I believe he had his press conference before the doubleheader. Kristian Campbell, 8 years, $60 million extension. Is this a steal for the Sox, or is it too early to tell? I'll take this one right off the top. It's an absolute steal. 8 for 60. I mean, come on now. Yes, please. What is that? Breaks down to what?
7.5.
7.5 a year for this kid, and his on-base percentage to start the season is off the charts already. The moment's not too big for him. This is a great extension, and team-friendly extension for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to overpay him for the next 3 or 4 years because you don't have to be paying him right now. So you could be paying him nothing. So you're going to overpay for the next 3 or 4 years. Then you're going to underpay for the 4 years after that, because I do believe this kid is going to be a superstar. He has shown, in terms of talent, in terms of makeup, in terms of attitude, fit, there's really not much. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, dude, that was a bomb. Alex Bregman is straightaway center field 3-run shot.
Bregman just takes it to the flagpole. I think everything shows that Kristian Campbell is going to be a star in this league. Everything about him is a good fit. Everything about him translates to the major league level. Is he going to have ups and downs? Sure. Is he going to have cold streaks? Sure. Is he going to have a sophomore slump? Maybe. But at the end of the day, this kid is here to stay. And $7.5 million a year for a likely core piece of this team is an absolute steal.
Yeah, and they were talking about it on the telecast, right? His ability to just be like, he's playing center field.
Yep.
He played center field this morning. Sorry, this first game of the doubleheader. I think he's back at second tonight.
Yep.
But I mean, the flexibility, defensive flexibility. We saw him in left in Texas to start, and then I guess Cora was like, "Wait, what am I doing? Like, Duran's an all-star left fielder. Why wouldn't I want to keep him in left? He knows how to play the monster already." Campbell said he's more comfortable in center. So Cora's like, why am I overthinking this? Like, I'm going to put the kid in center. And then when Rafaela gets in the lineup, he moves into second. Like, I love the defensive flexibility that he has, and this is an absolute steal for the Red Sox. I love it.
Yeah, and I think it's smart of Cora to let him play center and let him be more comfortable, because there's a lot of outfielders that prefer that straight on view. Most balls hit to center field don't have weird side spin on them. A lot of them are kind of straight out. Other than the fact you got to cover a lot of ground because it's a much deeper part of the field, it's a little bit easier to read balls straight off the bat versus balls that have side spin, that are hooking. So I think that being able to pop him into center field, pop him to second base, play him in left field on the road, maybe to get him away from the monster if they don't want him there, is just insanely valuable to have that level of positional flexibility, batting lineup flexibility. He can hit anywhere in the order. Yes. I mean, he could hit leadoff, he could hit fourth, he could hit ninth. Like, it doesn't matter. His swing will play, his approach will play anywhere in the lineup. You literally can do anything with him, and it'll work.
And the one thing about this Red Sox team that we have not had in a long, long time is speed. It is crazy to see this Red Sox team actually run. Like, yes. I can't remember the last Red Sox team where I've seen that. Yes, Devers can't run, but everybody else in the lineup, including our catchers, can run. You know, like that. That's exciting baseball to watch for sure. And he's got wheels. So
yeah, this is not the old Red Sox of get on base and try to hit a home run. This is a team that's gonna move guys around. They're gonna hit balls in the gaps. They're gonna take the extra base. They're gonna score from first on a double. They're gonna score from second on a single. Like, they're going to wreak havoc out there. And we've seen it the last week or so. Like, this offense, when it's clicking, is very dynamic and it's very difficult to defend.
Yeah.
Because just when you think you got away with something, somebody will take you a yard. Yeah. And then they'll start piling up hits on you if that's the other way they'll go. And then they'll steal the base and get in scoring position and score on the next hit. They create, and that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, Lou Merloni this morning called him, when he played on the Red Sox, the Lead Sox, because none of them could run. No, and they were just waiting for that 3-run bomb.
They were doubles off the monster and home runs. That's the only tricks they had.
Yeah,
yeah. Absolutely. This team will absolutely create chaos out there.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the series of this week. So Red Sox go to Baltimore and do pretty well. First game, not so hot, but we still put up 5 runs. I mean, it was Sean Newcomb against Cade Povich. Orioles score 4 in the first, and we're just like, oh, here we go. Here we go. And then they put up another 4 spot in the 8th inning, and then that was all that the Orioles had. The Sox with runners in scoring position in the first 5 games were horrendous. Another 1 for 9 runners in scoring position that game. And then Felix Bautista makes his return from Tommy John for the Orioles. So those were just kind of like the key highlights out of that game. Anything from that game 1 that you want to touch on?
I think it's worth noting the Red Sox continue to get contributions from everybody. So in this game, Devers was still 0 for 3, and I don't think he'd even made contact with the ball yet all season. But in this game, you got 2 hits from Ref Snyder, 2 from Romy Gonzalez. Not guys you expect to be making contributions. But it seems like when the big guys aren't hitting, Bregman's 1 for 5 in the game, Devers is 0 for 3. Ref Snyder gets 2 big hits, Gonzalez gets 2 hits. You got Campbell walking twice and scoring 2 runs. They're getting contributions from all over the place, and that makes a big difference when the meat of the order is not hitting. Trevor Story 1 for 4, 3 Ks in that game. They got nothing from the kind of the core pieces of that lineup, and still managed to put up 5 runs.
Yeah. I mean, Newcomb's gonna be this kind of pitcher. We'll come back to him because he pitched again for this series. But
yeah,
he's gonna be our Nick Pivetta this year, I think. Some days he's gonna go out, he's gonna absolutely deal, he's gonna look filthy, and then other days he's just gonna get rocked. But I mean, that's the world of pitching. So I'm not too worried about him. But like you said, I think the good takeaway, if you will, is our stars weren't hitting. We still put up 5 runs.
Yeah. Yeah. And in this game, Justin Slayton gave up the 4 runs in the 8th. He had gone 3 scoreless innings to start off the season, and then just could not get anybody out. I don't think that's an indication of who he is as a pitcher. I think it was just a bad night.
Yeah, I think those were the first runs that the bullpen had given up.
Yep.
In the first part of the season. So.
Yeah, and it was the inning got away from him quick. It was a couple of hits, and the next thing you know, the Ferris wheel the roundabout kept going.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll move on to game 2, where the Sox shut out the Orioles 3-0. I did not actually get to see this game, and I don't know why. I think probably work or whatever, but I wish I did, because Crochet, 8 scoreless innings. Chapman comes in with a save, game over. I mean, ideally, that's what the Sox want every night, is Crochet to go 8, Chapman to come in and slam the door.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Devers ends his 0 for 21 skid. So that was nice. Get him going again. Story with a solo shot, and the Sox shut out the Orioles 3-0.
Yeah, it was, again, it's funny because in this game, you got 2 hits from Devers, 1 from Bregman, 1 from Casas, 3 from Story, and then nothing from Abreu. Finally got a night off. Yeah, you got 2 hits from Campbell, nothing from Wong. It was nothing from Duran. It was, instead of it being everybody else, it was the meat of the order that delivered in this game. And this, to me, is the game that really shifted the rest of the week, because you finally saw Devers get going, Story get going. Bregman had some really good swings, and he's been really close to breaking out. He'd tease you, he'll get a hit, then he'll hit like a rocket in the gap that gets caught. But you finally started to see things clicking for the meat of the order, and then the rest of the week is where you really saw things start to come together.
Yeah. All right. So we'll just keep moving then. So Houck versus Morton, game 3 of that series. Bregman, Campbell, and Casas each with 2-run shots. And then Houck, 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, 6 Ks. I think this is who Tanner Houck is. He's going to give you 4 to 6 innings, scatter 5 hits, give up 2 or 3 runs, and, have 5 or 6 Ks. He's not a high strikeout guy. He's a ground ball pitching machine. So those hits are going to find their way through the infield because he's a contact pitcher.
Yep.
He doesn't have blow you away stuff. He can be nasty. And we've seen when he's nasty, he can end a game. And what was it last year? 79 pitches or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, that's where he needs to be. When he starts to pile up pitches because he's nibbling or missing locations, that's when he gets into trouble.
Yeah.
And this was one of those games. He only went 4. He had 82 pitches through 4 innings. Now, granted, this is a great Orioles lineup that fouled a lot of balls off, a lot of solid contact. They wore him down. and that's what they do. But he was also, it almost seemed like at times he was afraid to throw a strike, to throw to contact. And I know these guys can hit.
Yeah.
But that is when Houck is best. Houck is like the new Derek Lowe. Like, just throw it over the plate and let them hit it, because they're going to pound most of them into the ground. And that's okay. If it's going to be a death by single, then let it be.
Yeah.
But don't get deep in counts. Don't walk guys. Don't do the little stuff that makes it easier on them. Just make them beat you.
Yeah, he
hasn't done that all year.
Right. When you start nibbling, and then these hitters they just shrink that zone more and more and more, and then you hang one, and then that's when the 3-run homer hurts, because you just walk two. Now you're just trying to get a ball over the plate, and they crush it.
And you got in this game, Houck had 6 Ks, which is not necessarily like normal of him. It's not likely you'll see that much, but also the 2 walks, and we all know walks start to pile up on you and come back to bite you. And only 5 hits. It was really just a couple of big blows that really hurt.
Yeah.
But again, like it's throwing a lot of pitches, throwing away from contact. Houck is best when he pitches to contact. And as we've said on the show before, Houck was an all-star first half of last year. That's not who he is normally, though. Second half, Houck was not very good. He came back to kind of the normal, finished the year about where he should be. And we're seeing him not quite where he should be, but he's not far off either. Like, he's getting to where he should be, but he's not going to go out there and go 7 innings, give up 2 runs, strike out 8. That's not who he is. And the first half of last year was, I feel like, a fluke. That's just not the way he pitches.
I think also the pitching philosophy at the beginning of the year suited Houck.
It did.
The way that they attacked teams with off-speed pitches and to pitch soft. Like, I'm not saying Tanner Houck is soft. I'm saying what he threw and what really complements his game is soft pitching. He's soft contact. And the Red Sox pitched backwards for the first half of that season, and it showed, and he really thrived in that.
Yep.
So maybe that's an approach going forward that they only use with Houck. I don't know.
Maybe.
But we'll see.
I mean, coming out of spring training, the one pitch everybody can hit's the fastball. Like, they've spent the whole spring getting used to dialing in the fastball, getting the timing on the fastball. So they can hit fastballs right out of the gate in April. It's being able to adjust the changeup, the slider, the curve, whatever you might be throwing. And for Houck, it's a sinker, and he can even vary the velocity on a sinker. He'll throw a harder sinker and a softer sinker. That's really, for Houck, it's change of speed that's most valuable to him. When he gets behind in counts and just keep throwing fastballs is not where he wants to be. He needs to be able to change speeds, and even change speeds of the sinker. Throwing a little harder, throwing a little softer, just get guys off balance.
Yep, exactly.
And he's just not doing that so far this year.
All right, let's get to our home opener. So Fenway, home opener, Buehler versus Fetty. 5-run, bottom of the first for the Red Sox. Everybody contributed in can't talk. Everybody contributed in that first inning. It was incredible. Great way to set the tone for the season. Story hits an absolute shot, 3-run shot over the monster to get the scoring going. And then they're not even done showing the replay of Story's homer, and Abreu takes the first pitch into the bullpen. So they hit back-to-back there. This is where I'm not sure where this guy's going to go here. So Buehler, 5 innings pitched, 5 runs, 4 Ks, 2 home runs given up. How are we feeling about Buehler so far?
I said it last week. I feel like he doesn't miss enough bats anymore. His stuff is not what it used to be. Clearly, I think it's the result of injuries and layoffs. He's making a lot of mistakes over the plate, like just right over the plate. Like, it's not like he's missing a little bit, like he's down the chute. He doesn't miss bats anymore. You look at the line: 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned, 1 walk, 4 Ks, 2 home runs. I mean, 7 hits and 5 innings pitched, not a huge deal, but the fact is, like, they were all hard. They were all hard hit.
Yeah.
Everything's squared up with him. I just don't think he has bat missing stuff anymore. And he either has to learn how to pitch differently, like we were just talking about with Houck, varying speeds, changing locations, moving the ball around, but within the strike zone, or he's just got to accept who he is, and just be prepared for what that is. But he has to make the adjustment because he's not the Walker Buehler of old. He doesn't miss bats anymore. He's making a lot of mistakes over the plate he can't afford to make. He needs to just pitch differently, and he needs to pitch to soft contact.
Yeah, his fastball velocity is 93, 94. Before his injuries, when he was with the Dodgers, he's topping out 97, 98, occasionally hitting 99. He doesn't have that fastball at the moment. Maybe later in the season, I don't know. We'll see. But right now he's throwing 93, 94 with the heater, which tells me his mindset needs to change a little bit to what you're saying. He needs to learn how to pitch, where in the past he was able to get away with some mistakes because he had the velocity behind it. And with lack of velocity, you have lack of sharpness on your off-speed pitch, your breaking pitches. And that also shows too, because you throw a backup slider. And instead, if you have the velocity, that backup slider becomes a slider on the outside corner. So if you're lacking arm strength, you're lacking velocity, you lose the sharpness on your breaking stuff. And I think that's where Buehler is at the moment. Like I said, I think he can get better. He's proven it. He was pretty damn good in the playoffs for the Dodgers last year. So I think it's there. Yeah. He's just got to find it.
Buehler's always been a guy that's gotten better as the season went on. And my hope is that that's part of this. He's, it's cold. It's hard to get loose. There's a lot of reasons that some pitchers struggle in April. Especially the fact that, March and April now, because the season starts even earlier. So I feel like there's a part of this that I think we'll see better from him. Just the fact it's going to get warmer. He's going to get more stretched out. We'll get deeper into the season. He seems to get better. Yeah. But I do think that he has to change his approach. The big difference between him and Garrett Crochet is when Crochet hangs a slider, because he's got a hundo in his back pocket, that slider is that much harder to hit.
Right. Yeah.
Walker doesn't have that in his back pocket anymore. So the guys are already sitting back a little longer, gives them more time to read this. And some of his pitches that hung just got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
Whereas Garrett Crochet can get away with it because that flinch of the fastball causes you to change your approach.
Yep. So after the Story home run in the first inning, we get the Red Sox home run, Selly. It sounds like I put a clip on the page this week that Jarren Duran asked them to make this, and it shows Wally bringing him the head, and Duran's like, "Oh yeah, I love this." So Wally, the monster head, looks like it's here and to stay. All the fans are screaming for the laundry cart to come back, but
the laundry cart was fun. That was a good one.
Yeah.
But every team needs they need their own identity, and the Wally mask is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I loved it. So pretty cool.
And what I like most about it is that this was entirely Jarren Duran's. It was his idea. He was the one that pitched it to the team, got them to buy into the concept, got them to make the mask. It's Jarren Duran continuing to change his evolution as a member of this Red Sox team from just another guy to one of the leaders. And I think in all this, what we've seen Devers shrink. We've seen Devers shrink way back. And you've seen really Jarren Duran emerge as the kind of the existing group leader, and then Bregman come in over the top and add another layer of leadership that the Red Sox haven't had. And I think it's been great to see Jarren Duran continue to find ways to get this team engaged, but also just to keep that culture and that vibe going, because he's an energy guy. Right. He reminds me of, the days of Johnny Damon and Kevin Millar, like the guys that would keep everybody light and they get things going and they get guys excited, the guys that never quit. And Jarren Duran is taking on that persona.
And we're not that far removed from him misplaying that play in center field and showing no effort. And us being like, who is this kid? Like, we don't need this on the team here. Like, this isn't going to help us. To top 3, top 4 MVP candidate last year, to him, like you said, emerging as the clubhouse leader. I absolutely love it. And I love this. So,
yeah, I mean, he was dead to Red Sox fans, me included. I'm in that group. He was dead to Red Sox fans like 3 years ago. And now he is very much one of the people we are most excited to see every day.
Yeah. Also, part as the home opener and to open up the 2025 season, they did a 50-year anniversary of the 1975 Red Sox. They took the Big Red Machine to Game 7 in the 1975 World Series. And a lot of people claim it was the best World Series ever. The Red Sox were underdogs. We all know who the Big Red Machine was. And they played them tough, and they had them there, and they just couldn't quite cap it off in Game 7. And then obviously the big celebration of life for Louis Tiant and his impact on the organization, that 75 team, and everything he brought to the Red Sox. And then Carl Yastrzemski threw out the first pitch.
And Yaz is just such a Red Sox legend. Like,
yeah,
anytime that guy's around the ballpark, it's electric. Fans are just so excited and happy to see him. Louis Tiant, it's great what they did for Louis Tiant. He was such an important piece of that team, of that era of Red Sox baseball. And I love the little tribute that Chris Sale had given when he was pitching in spring training. A lot of players have done things separately to honor Tiant, but that 75 series, granted, we weren't alive for it.
no.
But I've probably watched all of it several times, whether on YouTube or on some of the old baseball, late at night on the baseball channel.
Right.
It's an incredible series, just blow after blow after blow. Teams just trading him, and it was a battle to the very end, and yet another crushing defeat for the Red Sox.
Yeah, as they will have another 30 years of crushing defeats until finally 04 happened. But yeah, it was a great tribute. I can't believe it's been 50 years, and they still had a good bulk of that team still with them. So that was pretty great to see. All right, let's get to today's game. So Game 2 was initially rained out last night. They played at 1:05 today. Newcomb comes back against Palante for the Cardinals. Campbell makes his first start in center field. Devers' first home run over the monster. Absolutely crushed it. Absolute laser beam into the first row of seats there over the monster. And when Devers is right, that's what his swing looks like.
I was just going to say that when Devers is right, that's what it looks like. That those are the kind of swings he gets.
Yeah. Whitlock surrenders two runs in the 8th inning. Sox go down 4-2 going into the 9th. And then the 9th inning just implodes for Helsley. Couldn't find the strike zone. He walked 4 batters, I think, in that inning.
4 walks. It was an utter, implosion's the word. I mean, he completely fell apart.
Yeah, and it was, his pitches weren't even close. It was like 11 out of the 15 were balls. He wasn't even close to the strike zone.
Helsley doesn't give up 2 runs all season, let alone in one appearance.
Yeah. Romy hits a double down the line with runners on, so it makes it 4-3. And then Devers has an incredible at bat. He goes down 0-2, ends up drawing a walk, makes it and ties the game. I'll say this about Devers. Even in his 0-21 slump to start the season, he wasn't chasing pitches.
No,
he really wasn't. Like, they were, I would say, good at bats, but they were. Like, he didn't chase out of the zone. He was just behind on his timing. So, were they quality at bats? Maybe not, but they were in a way because his knowledge of the strike zone, he wasn't pressing. He was just taking what was given to him. He just couldn't hit it. And it's starting to come around. We're starting to see Devers. He's smiling. He's happy. He's having a good time because he's having some success. So I think he's starting to find his groove in that DH role.
Yep. Yeah, and I agree. His bats were all competitive. Like he just couldn't catch up to the fastball. There was clearly something wrong with his swing, but he was not expanding the zone. He was not chasing bad pitches. He was disciplined. He just couldn't hit what they were throwing.
Yeah. So yeah, to continue with this game, Cardinals come in. Chapman comes in top of the 10th, absolutely just mows down the Cardinals, and Chapman gives a nice little glare after he strikes out the side in the top of the 10th. I kind of, I wasn't high on this Chapman signing. I really wasn't. But if he's going to bring that mentality at the back end of these games when the Red Sox are this good, I'm kind of digging it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like that I'm going to stare you down because I'm going to blow you away.
Well,
We've missed that in a closer the last few years.
well, that was who Chapman was for so many years.
Yeah.
He was the guy that when he walked to the bullpen, everybody went, "Oh crap, here we go." And he'd come in, he'd mow you down. He was nasty. He was mean. He would bark at you. He'd stare at you. He scared people. And that was what we talked about that coming through spring training, is the fact that like what always worked for Chapman was the intimidation factor.
Right.
Yeah, I throw 105. I'm also not afraid to put it in your ear flap either, just because I feel like it, because you looked at me funny. Like he was always the guy that was like on the edge of like loose cannon and like controlled chaos. And that is what he's brought. I mean, granted, he's pitched 3 2/3 innings, so like we're still early,
Right.
but he does look like the Chapman of old. And the one thing that you and I talked about, I think right before the end of the spring training, was the fact that this is the first time in several years that Chapman is signed somewhere where he's actually going to finish the season.
Right.
He can actually settle in, he can do his thing, and he's just pitching. He's not pitching for another job. He's not pitching for another spot. He's not pitching to get interest. He's just pitching. And maybe taking all that noise away, where he knows that, hey, until October, I'm here. Like I can just go pitch. That may let him just go back to the old way, because for so long he was so locked in. The last few years he's been wandering the league and never really settled in. He's always been on the move.
Yeah.
Maybe finally settling in will let him get his mojo back, because there's not a lot of guys scarier in the 9th inning than him.
No. And going somewhere where he's actually the closer too,
Right.
like he's gone somewhere. He's been a setup guy, or he's been a 7th inning guy, like Texas, who knows what he was there. He was kind of all over the place there. So coming in here, knowing he's the shutdown guy, gives him an edge. And I kind of like that, but
yeah, totally agree.
And then we continue with Wilyer Abreu. I mean, my goodness, he walks it off with a wall ball double, bottom of the 10th inning. This guy, you can't get him out right now. He is crazy hot. And we got to extend this guy too. He's got to be next on the list.
I mean, yeah. And I asked the question last week, like, do we not see Roman Anthony in Boston this year?
Yeah,
and I asked that question more pointed at the fact that it's not about Roman Anthony. It's about the fact that Wilyer Abreu has announced loudly, I'm still here. Like, it's still my job until somebody takes it from me. And he's making a very compelling case to keep it.
Yeah.
Because when you look around that team right now, there's no home for Roman Anthony. There just isn't at the moment. There's also no home for Yoshida, and that decision's coming soon.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Abreu is crazy, because Cora scratches him from the game 1 lineup, be like, hey, listen, you've been carrying the load for the first 7 games, bud. Like, just take a breather. So he wasn't even playing this game and just comes off the bench. I think he hits a single in his first pinch hit at bat, and then just gets up and hits a walk-off double. It's just like, he is hot. I can't wait to see if he can maintain this throughout the entire season, because it's going to be incredible if he can.
Yeah, in his first at bat, he walked.
It was a walk. Okay, it was a walk.
It was a walk, and then the hit. But still, he's on base twice.
Yeah, coming
off the bench cold, replacing Ref Snyder, who was 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. I mean, the Red Sox have gotten incredible production out of the outfield. For the most part, they've gotten limited production from the infield until the last couple of nights.
Yeah. All right, and then let's move on to tonight. So, the nightcap of the doubleheader, because of the rain out, we have Dobbins making his MLB debut. I knew nothing about this kid until saw him pitching tonight against Miles Mikolas.
Did they bring him up from Worcester literally just for the start? Is that what it was? Was he just filling in?
I believe so.
Yeah.
He spent most of the year in Portland last year.
Okay, yeah. So I saw him pitch in Portland, but I wasn't sure how he got here.
Yep. And he doesn't look bad. He's given up 2 runs, and he's pitching in the 5th. He's got a couple runners on, 2 outs right now, but a lot of soft contact. He's got this little splinker thing that's going on that's keeping them off balance. And he's throwing 97 miles an hour. So, I mean, if this is a guy you can bring up in case of emergency, like, yeah, sure. I mean, yes, it's his first game. And, as soon as this starts over, teams will have a book on him. But he just got a ground out to end the inning. So through 5, 2 runs. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that out of a starting pitcher, especially if the Red Sox are going to hit like this every night.
Well, no, and the thing is, like, here's a kid that just got dragged up cold. Hey, make a start for us. Fill a spot. Not a lot of expectation, and the kid goes out there and deals. And as a Red Sox fan, this is really exciting to see the fact that here's a minor league arm coming out making an impact.
Thank you, Bloom.
Well, yeah, thank you, Heim, for doing what you're hired to do and aren't getting to see the end of.
Yeah.
But here's a kid who's gone 5 innings. He's given up 8 hits. I was going to say he's given up a fair number of hits, a lot of singles, 2 earned, 2 walks, 5 Ks. And he just literally got driven up here, I would assume, this morning to make this start, to get driven back over to Worcester, like an hour away. And he'll go right back in. It allows Cora to keep the rotation intact. Nobody loses their typical day. Everybody gets the same rest. And this kid, in a game you probably didn't expect to be this comfortable, is dealing for you and chewing up innings that you didn't necessarily want to have somebody else have to chew up.
Yeah.
It's an awesome situation for the Red Sox to be able to just call a kid up, hand him the ball, and go win a game.
And I think sometimes that's even harder in your MLB debut, is to get a big lead like this and pitch, right? Because it's easy to let your guard down. Maybe he's got the juices flowing and that's why he looks as sharp as he is. But I mean, my mindset, dude, I'd be like, all right, I got a big lead. How am I going to blow it? You know what I mean? Like I know these guys are different. These are all professionals. These guys have done it before. But yeah, it's cool to see.
Yeah. The key to a game like this is how do I just get the next out? Just one at a time. Like what pitch can I make to get this guy out? And you're not even thinking about Ks. It's not about trying to rack up Ks, not about trying to show off on the radar gun. It's how do I get the next out and the next out and the next out? And how do I try to get through the 7th inning and give this team what they were hoping to get, which was some relief?
Yep. 5 runs, 2nd inning for the Sox. I mean, they kind of put this game out of reach early. And again, Wilyer Abreu is an absolute animal. He just is. He just absolutely hosed Lars Nootbaar out at third base a couple innings ago. Base hit to right field. Nootbaar's trying to go first to third. He's halfway to third, and Abreu goes, I don't be thinking so. And just absolute cannon. Yeah. When you see that replay, Harrison, it will be ridiculous. It was.
I just missed it when I turned the game on.
Yeah, 6 feet off the ground the entire way from right field.
Yeah, so Dobbins is done. He's getting the congratulations in the dugout.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah, Devin, your comment, the Red Sox look solid. Yeah, the Red Sox got off to a rough start the first 5 games. They were a little rugged. They've been really good since.
Yeah. And I hope that's not them. I hope they find a stride and can play consistent baseball. Like these last 2 series, like they've had a great week. And it's the different contributors throughout the lineup that we were talking about earlier that I absolutely love about this team. Bregman can go 0 for 3, but it's okay because Abreu went 5 for 5. Or, one day Devers goes 3 for 3 with a home run and a double, and he carries the offense. But then the next day it's Connor Wong coming up with a big hit. It's Narvaez. That he's been a pleasant surprise. I like him behind the dish. I love how he plays defensively. He has great at bats. It's not a ton of pop, but he puts together great at bats. And I mean, again, I think the lineup is a product of that. You see these other guys succeeding, and Arenado's still so good. Great.
Yeah, he's still obscenely good.
Yeah.
It just he just is who he is.
But when it's just cool to see that the Red Sox finally have a team where it's like, all right, it's my turn. Like, it's my time. It's my time to deliver now. And more times than not, so far this season, they've delivered. Yeah. And yeah, I agree with this. Devers has turned it around and looks like he's back. His timing's back. His swing looks great. And we overreacted as Red Sox fans do. I threw it out on Thursday. I go, is he the next Chris Davis? Kind of tongue in cheek, because I know he's not. But his swing looks like he's back and his timing is back. And that's baseball. I mean, you could hit 21 rockets at people and go 0 for 21. And then you could hit 5 off your off the tape of your handle and get 5 base hits. Like that's baseball. Like I get it. And he was having too good a quality at bats for him to continue that 0 for 21 streak.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was coming. We just didn't know how long it was going to take. I mean, I had even suggested, if they feel like there's a physical thing, to put him on the IL and send him back to Florida. Let him just get some swings in. It's really hard to work through timing and mechanical issue against the best pitchers in the world.
Yeah,
that's not always an easy thing to do. Devers is a great hitter, so he can do that, but yeah, it's a lot. I mean, he's got 2 hits tonight. He had 2 hits earlier today too. So 4 hits today. Definitely coming alive. Bregman's had a huge day today too. He's 3 for 3 tonight with 5 RBIs. The big bats in the middle are coming to life.
Yeah, and it is exciting to see. And Duran hasn't had a great day to even set the table, and they're still putting up runs. So I love that.
Yeah,
love that.
And again, like when Duran gets rolling too, this lineup is, because, like we said at the beginning of the show, because they do so much, they are hard to defend. They're hard to slow down.
Yep, absolutely.
But again, they've got to prevent runs too, because they're back in the same spot where their plus minus is close, because they're giving up as many as they score.
Yeah. So right now it's 10-2 in the 5th. Duran just got a hustle double. Wow. That's the speed we're talking about. Red Sox have not had that in a long time, and it is fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, they will stress a defense. They will absolutely. They will take the extra base. They will absolutely make you make the play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even the ground balls in the infield aren't freebies.
No.
Like you have to. Yeah, like I mean, that is a single that Duran turned into 2.
That might be an E3. That might be a 2-base error, but.
Oh, maybe.
But yeah, either way, love it.
Yeah, just it's nice. It's fun to see the Red Sox play a fun brand of baseball, because honestly, the last maybe 2 seasons, it's been really hard to watch them, because they don't play good baseball. Oh, that was a nasty error. They don't play good baseball, or they didn't play good baseball.
Right.
They didn't do anything very well, and now they are solidly an exciting team.
Yeah, we got that little teaser in 21 where they squeaked into the playoffs, then went on that crazy run, and we're just like, or I should say, Kike Hernandez went on that crazy run.
Yeah.
Did Devers do it again?
I don't know. He's still in the box.
Oh my goodness, he missed that by like 2 feet, I think, on the left side of the yellow line off the wall. Dang. Yeah, I love it. This is awesome. But yeah. All right. So we kind of caught up on all the games in the past week. Do you have anything else to add?
Oh yeah. I just saw him get with the hit, just launch that thing off the wall. But again, like that swing looks so good.
Yes.
He's balanced. He's going the opposite way. Strong follow through. Like he looks like the Devers we've been waiting to see.
Yeah.
Finally. Amen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Devers is bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bregman's red hot. Devers is hot again. This is a dangerous lineup. Very dangerous lineup.
Bregman, like this is, obviously, like I've seen Bregman play, right? It is incredible to watch him at the plate and his knowledge of the strike zone. Like he is, even when he takes a pitch, he is on time with every single pitch. And if it's even a hair out of the strike zone, he doesn't fish for it.
No.
Like it's really incredible. Oh, he just missed that one. Whew, that was a hanger. But yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah.
All right. You got some trivia for us here to end the rounding third Boston?
Yeah, I got a few trivia questions. I keep a list of trivia questions just, to fill in. So let's go with this one. Who is the only Red Sox pitcher to win a Gold Glove?
Only Red Sox pitcher to win a Gold Glove. Greg Maddux in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Let's go Frank Viola.
No, generally the same era.
Aaron Seeley.
Well, that's a good one. No, not Aaron Seeley.
I don't know.
This was 1990.
Oh, goodness. Greg Harris.
Oh, such a great choice. Greg Harris was one of those guys that people love to hate. Not Greg Harris. I'll give you one more guess, and then I'll jump in.
Just jump in right now. I don't think I got another name.
I'll give you 4 to pick from. I gave you the year, so it's going to take a couple guys out. Roger Clemens, Mike Boddicker, or Dennis Eckersley.
Boddicker.
It is absolutely Mike Boddicker in 1990.
Oh, cool. No clue. The only one, huh?
Only
That's
one.
crazy. Huh.
Let's see. This is a fun one. Which Red Sox player was the last to lead MLB in both triples and home runs in the same season?
Triples and home runs. By the end of the season or like at any point in the season?
When the season ended, they led the MLB in both triples and home runs.
I mean, Ellsbury had a 30-plus home run season, but I don't think he led the league.
He didn't.
Would it Canseco in that one year?
Nope, not Canseco. This was in the late 70s. It's the team
Fred Lynn.
Not Freddie Lynn, but a teammate of his. Also played the outfield.
Dewey.
Comes up in our Hall of Fame debates.
Dewey. Dwight Evans.
No, Dewey's a good one.
Jim Rice.
Jim Rice.
1978.
Led MLB in triples and home runs.
That was my first guess, Uncle Ted, because I was like, Jacoby had that random 35, 36 home run year in there. So, but yeah, I mean, Jim Rice makes total sense.
All right, here's one for you, Nick. What Red Sox player is the only player in MLB history to hit for the cycle and turn an unassisted triple play?
Brock Holt.
No, but that's a good one. Remember, it's the unassisted triple play.
Then it's who's the other one that hit for the cycle? Bobby Doerr?
Not Bobby Doerr. This is our era. He was a teammate of Nomar's. He turned the last unassisted triple play that we've seen from the Red Sox.
Oh, goodness.
Nomar took his position.
Nomar took his position. John Valentin?
John Valentin.
Wow.
Was the last Red Sox player to hit for the cycle and turn an unassisted triple play.
That's pretty cool. That's a good one.
All right. Who was the last Red Sox player to hit a home run in the old Yankee Stadium back in 2008?
The last player to homer in the old Yankee Stadium. Now you're testing my roster knowledge here.
Yep.
2008. Let's see. Hanley was 13. Ramirez. Let's go with Ramirez.
No, good one though.
Ortiz.
Not Ortiz.
Is it a typical power hitter or no?
The little guy that played next to Ortiz.
No, Pedroia.
Pedroia.
Dumb.
All right, one more before we got to go.
Oh, this is pretty cool. Fred Lynn was a good friend of my dad. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That is really cool. All right, who was the last Red Sox left-handed pitcher to win 20 games in a season?
Lester never did.
You're right. Lester never did.
Sale never did. Lefty. Crochet this year.
He will be the last. So let me give you 4 options. John Lester, Mel Parnell, Bill Lee, or Bruce Hurst.
Bruce Hurst was a lefty?
I'm just giving you names.
Oh, gotcha. That is, it's got to be Spaceman, right? Is it Spaceman?
It's not Spaceman.
Oh, then it's the other one you said that I've never heard of before.
Mel Parnell.
Mel Parnell. Yeah. Never
Been
heard
a
of
long time since the Red Sox had a lefty win 20 games.
him. Yeah.
Dude,
Awesome.
Erod to get close, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we know this one. This one's Ted Williams. This is absolutely insane that he won the Triple Crown and didn't get the MVP, but he was not.
DiMaggio that had the insane season he lost it to.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how insane you can get if you win the Triple Crown, but I think that was his 56-game hitting streak one too, which probably doesn't help. But I heard Williams wasn't very liked by the writers at that time, so
he was not. Teddy Ballgame was not a guy that the writers ever really enjoyed being around.
Yeah. So.
Oh well.
All right. Anything else before we head on out to the big show?
No, that's it. Red Sox have had a good week. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know who they got next week. I forgot to look. But I think they have a decent schedule coming up. So
yeah, so they start the week off with so they're off on Monday. And then they've got Toronto coming in.
Toronto, that's right. Toronto coming in. That should be a good series. I'm looking forward to that one.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you've got Toronto in town, which I think that'll be a good series.
Yeah.
And then for the weekend, they go out to the White Sox. So it's a chance for them to pile up a few wins this week, because these are the games you have to win. You have to beat these teams like the Blue Jays, like the White Sox. You've got to take at least 2 out of 3 from teams like this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for everybody chiming in the chat. As always, we always love the interactions. We will be back on in a few minutes for the big show. Meanwhile, before you go, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can follow on Instagram, Rumble, TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And we will see you next Sunday to recap the week that the Red Sox are about to win all 6 games, or 7. I don't know, 6 or 7. But